Hello and welcome to the MEG Method podcast, the podcast that helps you move, think and feel better so you can do more of what you love with the people you love. We have a lot of listeners who love a marathon, and so today's episode we want to bring you more of what you love and talk about the iconic London Marathon. It's Yumi and I's favorite. It'll be taking place very soon on Sunday, the 27th of April, 2025. And joining me to give you all the facts about this year's race, we have our national treasure, the poster boy of the London Marathon, Yimmy as he's known to his fans, or David Yim, if you would like to hire him.
Also available for birthdays and bar mitzvahs.
Exactly. He is not just a pretty face, ladies and gentlemen. And if I remember anything from New York as well, he's ready. He's available for a dance show as well. Tragic Mike.
Oh my God, those trousers.
Those trousers.
Oh God, that's such good memories, Meg.
I've never seen someone strip off a pair of painted trousers so unceremoniously. Tragic Mike. May he make a comeback one day.
I totally failed my audition.
Exactly. But they love the character, you know.
Those Australians thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Oh, they thought it was the best thing they've ever seen.
Oh God.
Endearing is what we go for. But anyway, today we're talking about London. We'll leave Tragic Mike back in New York, back in the New York Marathon starting pen where he belongs. But
absolutely.
We're talking about London Marathon. It's taking place on Sunday, the 27th of April, 2025. You'll be starting in that Greenwich Blackheath area, and it is our favorite race of the majors, isn't it?
It is. My heart will always be in London, Meg, and you know it's yours and my favorite, and there's a reason why. It's got the course, it's got the camaraderie, it's got the color, it's got the charity, it's got the crowd, it's got everything. It's the complete package, and I think it's the friendliest in terms of the most welcoming, most inclusive marathon of the majors. I mean, Chicago, we said, was friendly and that you felt very welcome there. And I felt it again last year. But there's nothing like your hometown race. And I'm so proud that London puts on such a great event. I've got goosebumps thinking about it. And I know I've got Paris coming up. I've got Boston coming up. I've run all the majors again, apart from Boston, which I'm about to go and do. But I tell you what, there's no race I'm more excited about than doing the victory lap around London. I just can't wait.
Yeah, it really is. I call it, it's like the party race. It really is the race that celebrates all runners. I know we are biased because we are Londoners, but I love it. I've done it 3 times myself. I do have to give the unfortunate news on today's episode. I was meant to be running it a 4th time. In 10 years of entering the ballot, I finally got the ballot this year. But unfortunately, I've just not been well enough to run. I've been dealing with some medical stuff, and I run every event. The reason I run is for Young Lives versus Cancer. Just like Yimmy, I've done, this would be marathon 22 now. I've run them all for Young Lives, and if there's anything that I have learned running for Young Lives versus Cancer, it's the importance of advocating for yourself in the health and also taking care of yourself. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who's been messaging me, asking me about, am I going to be there? Am I going to be at the London Marathon? I absolutely wanted to. I've waited until this. I had to let the charity know first out of respect. I've kept myself as healthy as I can. I'm feeling fit. I'm feeling strong otherwise. Just unfortunately, I haven't got the okay to run at the moment. And we're so close to the game now, which is so exciting for everyone running. But you got to keep it safe. You know, if I've got to marathon 21 so far, it's for anyone else. I hope this can be a comfort. If you can't run London this year, or you've had to miss out on a marathon this year, it does suck. You know, you get so excited for these things, especially London. It's such a celebration. It's something you want to do. However, I would encourage you to think about the bigger picture, right? 21 marathons in, including an Ironman in that. You got to think, if you want your body, there's only one of you. That's what Yumi and I were talking about.
We were just saying there are plenty more marathons. There's only one of you. Meg, I'm glad you've actually spoken about it, because you're an advocate of health and well-being, and you're leading by example here. It's a very brave decision to make. I remember when I had a stress fracture in 2019 and I couldn't run and I was injured, and that was my second marathon, and I've done 22 marathons now, and I don't regret making the decision. It was so hard at the time, and I know for you it would be just such a tear having got in a ballot place after all this time. But you know what, Meg, credits to you, because this is about the time when you need to put yourself first, and actually parking all these other emotions you've got about running such an iconic race, and we both love it so much, but actually putting yourself first is just so important sometimes. So good on you.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. And as I say, like it's one of those things you got to think about what you value at the end of the day. Like I'm a
Yeah.
fitness and health coach, so I encourage this of others. I've got to be a leader myself. I also run for Young Lives versus Cancer, right? We're encouraging young people to check themselves, be healthy, advocate for themselves, right? So I couldn't, one, it just wouldn't be safe to do so at this stage, but also I couldn't do that and still be in line with my values, knowing that I was representing these things and not actually taking that on board myself. So I'm sad not to be there, but I will be there in spirit. I am just as I'm so excited for everyone who's got to run. So please, I'll be running vicariously through you all. So please, please do have the best day. Having done that 3 times now, you really are in for an absolute incredible race. And how lucky am I that we still get to have the fun on this podcast. We still get to get excited about it together and talk about the race we love. So I still feel like I'm a little bit involved in the big day.
You are always going to be involved in the big day, Meg, right? And when I'm at that Expo, London Marathon Running Show,
Yeah.
we call it the Expo because we are old hands at all of this.
Exactly.
And I don't know why they changed the name. Everyone else calls it an Expo still.
I know. I think we just wanted that fancy touch, the London Marathon Running Show. But it is, in fact, the Expo.
But in many ways, actually, but joking aside, the show of the Expo or the London Marathon Running Show bit, I mean, nobody else has the stage front and center.
I agree with that,
and you walk in there. If you haven't been to the London Marathon before, you have not done the marathon before, and it's your first time, the Expo's on at the Excel Centre on the Wednesday to the Saturday, 23rd of April to the 26th of April. It's on from 10 till 8 on the Wednesday to the Friday, right, inclusive. And then Saturday, it's on from 8:30 till 5:30.
Yeah.
At the Excel, which we can talk about how you get there. But once you get there, yes, you go and collect your bib, and that's super exciting. Yes, you walk through that tunnel thing that takes you into the New Balance merch, which is Merch Magpie here. I've got serious merch.
How did that get there?
Oh!
What a surprise. How did the merch, so conveniently placed?
I didn't need another jacket until I realised that I actually do need another jacket.
Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, yeah. And it's a bit like IKEA. You can't get to the bit you want to get to unless you... Yeah,
literally, it's the IKEA of marathons.
But you finally get through, and the stage is massive, and it's front and center, and they have all these inspirational talks. I think Paula Radcliffe has done those talks before in the past. Mo Farah's been there. Kipchoge came and did a Q&A one year. I don't know if he's going to turn up this year, because I know he's doing some other big races. Mm-hmm. He keeps trying to beat me, He's now going to be running in Sydney,
Such an attention seeker, that one.
I know.
You're not the poster boy. Yumi is.
But some great presentations on that stage when you get there. It's amazing.
So, you know what? I do completely agree with that. I think out of all of the majors, they really do put on a show in terms of that thing. And I tell you, nothing was more of a shock for me than walking in to the London Expo must have been, I'm going to say it was 2017. And I was like I was walking with some of my Young Lives versus Cancer mates, and Joe was like, I'm sure that's your voice. And literally go walk. We're on this massive screen, this because we were doing our first Guinness World Record, and it was this recording. We'd done the Silverstone racetrack. We had to do the time trial. They'd done an interview of us there, and then there's Paula Radcliffe standing next to the stage waiting to go on, and then it was like, "That's you, isn't it?" And I was like, "This is the most." Bizarre moment that I could have walked into. But they really, really do put on a show. So fair enough with
Brilliant,
the title, the title track.
brilliant, brilliant.
So talking about the expo, that is your opportunity to pick up your race bib. Now, I believe this is one of the few majors where you could actually designate someone else to do
Yeah.
it. There's instructions to do that on the website. They'll need your ID and some permission there. But you're going to go there and you're going to pick up your event pack, which contains that big number. And you cannot collect this on the day, no exception.
Yeah. I mean, I think that my tips for the picking up the bib, you get there, it's like airport style desks, like check-in desks, like 50, 60 of these things. Go to any one of them. They live print your bib. So unlike Chicago and New York, and also in Boston, where you have to go to a specific desk, you can, very similar to Berlin, actually, they live print your bib for you. So you go, you have to show your ID. You get a QR code sent to you about 2.5 weeks before race day, and that's like your check-in procedure. They scan that, check your ID. They then give you your bag, and that bag that they give you is your kit bag.
Yeah.
It's 48 centimeters long and 52 centimeters deep, and so you can actually put a backpack in there if you want to. But that's the bag that you'll need for your bag drop, which we'll talk about in a moment. In there, you'll also get your bib. Now, you only get one bib, and on that bib is your chip. Two things here. One, do not fold that bib.
Nope.
And damage the chip, because if you damage the chip, you won't get an official time. So it is an integrated chip on the actual bib itself. I would say that also fill in the details of your emergency contacts. Now, I've got a bit lackadaisical, Meg. I'll be really honest. I'm not a good role model with the 10Ks and the half marathons.
Yeah.
But given how many incidents I have witnessed in 12 marathons, the 10 marathons out of 12, my 12 challenge that I've done in the last year, that I've seen people needing medical assistance, do fill out that medical contact details on the back. And the other thing that you get in that bag is a sticker.
Yeah.
And that sticker matches your bib number. You need to stick that sticker on the bag before you drop your bag. My advice is, as soon as you're at the expo, before you lose that sticker, take it out of the bag and stick it on the front of the bag, so it's done.
That is good advice, because you know what, I do that when I get home, and I actually quite like it. There's something really soothing. It's part of my little marathon routine, and I really like just sticking it on. But it would be very stressful if you've lost it.
I bet you get it nice and square and put it into the window.
Well, do you know what? You'd think that, and I do, but because I've got ADHD, at the last hurdle, I just get distracted, and then it looks like a 5-year-old's put it on. So I do line it up with the best intentions. It's usually looks a little bit screwy on the bag, but I enjoy the placement of it.
Yes, I bet you do.
Either be like me, enjoy the placement of it back at home, but guard that stick with your life. Don't lose it. It needs to go in your bag so you get it at the end.
And that bib, I mean, I was talking to the security guys at the expo last year, and they said end of every day they pick up on average 30 bibs.
No.
30 people who've put their bib down somewhere. They've gone to take their bib photo, with the number in front of the medals and all that sort of stuff. And they've just left it.
Yeah. No, don't be one of those 30, okay? You listen to this podcast. No, we don't do that around here, okay? So keep that strapped to you for life, okay? Until you get to that finish line, that bib needs to be with you. And don't fold it. like Yimi said. It's a great expo, as I say, lots to go on with in terms of the stage itself. Plenty of photo ops, awesome like London Marathon is just like one of my favorite things about the London Marathon, as I said, is it really does celebrate every runner. It's one of the most charity vests you'll ever see.
Yeah.
So as a charity runner, the vibes are fantastic at the expo. Please do take the time to go and see your charity, so they can love on you a bit and say hi, and you can usually get a photo and get your name up on the wall.
And a big shout out to Young Lives versus Cancer, who
Yeah.
have a stand there every year. I know all the major charities have their stands there, and people go and they see their teammates, and you meet some people who you've been chatting to on Facebook and sharing stories about toilet habits and chafing and all this sort of stuff and bleeding nipples, etc., etc. And you've not actually met these people in real life.
Don't know your name, but let's talk about our nipples.
but they appear at the expo, and there's this weirdness, isn't there, where you meet somebody you've been chatting to and interacting with on social media for the last like 7 or 8 months, and it's like, are we hugging? Is it a handshake? Or what's that sort of like, what's the protocol here? You always guaranteed I'm going to invade your personal space and give you a
like
big hug.
Yumi needs his own stand. He has it like usually he's there every day, and I have all his fans. So please do come to the Yimi stand.
Come on, I love meeting all the people from Facebook group. It's really, really good fun. And I get selfies and hugs. And people come up to me afterwards, or people message me afterwards and go, "I saw you were like at the expo. I was too shy to come up." Don't be shy. Just come up and say hi.
No, I always say this. I say, if you ever see us at an event, please do come
Yeah.
and say, and especially like hats off to you, Yumi. You spend so much of your own spare time for free, helping so many people, giving out tips and advice. So it's one of my favorite things when I see that people have come up to you and given you a hug and given you some love, because I know that it genuinely is from a place of care. You do so much for people. So it's so nice that actually you get to meet these people that you've helped from afar in person. And I know you really have made such a difference to their experience and their life as well. So if you see Yumi, give him a hug, okay? Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Yeah,
don't be shy.
bite.
We love it. So that basically is the expo summed up, I think. I don't think we've got too much more to add there, unless you've got
I don't think so.
thing.
I mean, you're going to have all the major brands are there. Abbott's are there with the big six star wall of legends, and you can go find your name. They've also started doing this 6-star hopefuls as well, so people who are about to get their 6 stars, they started doing their own merch. There's also you'll see this big long wall that says "We Run Together," and when you go up close, you find that actually the "We Run Together" lettering's made up of all the names of every single participant. And this year they're looking at 56,000 participants.
It's a world record, I believe, right?
Well, we can have a separate discussion around my feelings on this, Meg, because Berlin was a crazy experience with 55,000 finishers. New York was crazy. Can London really? Does London really have the capacity on its streets? I'll talk a little bit about.
We're going to find that out.
We're going to find that out this year. And there have been some changes on the course, which I'll talk through from my experience last year. The only other thing I would say about the Expo, just to sort of like while it's in my mind, is the shirt pickup, the event shirt pickup is no longer a finisher shirt. It's an event shirt.
Okay.
And you pick this up at the Expo. Yeah. So, and I saw some people wearing this. And
we have this thing. If you've ever listened to our previous episodes on the marathons,
I see. This is an event.
Now I get there's a blur now, isn't there? There's a blurred line. It's an event shirt, right? We're on the no finisher shirt before the finish club, but an event shirt. I don't know. We're in new territory.
I think we are, but it'll be on the back, on the side wall as you exit. The last thing you do is go and pick up your t-shirts. Do get your sizing right. They are New Balance, really nice quality. True to size, I would say, but there were some people, if they got the wrong sizes, because they were told to size up or size down, and they were very, very strict about exchanging. Not like Chicago, where you remember you got the wrong size and really, just went back and changed it. They were really, they were quite shirty about it.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Get him on that running show stage. A warm-up act.
Birthdays and bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, exactly. And weddings.
Oh dear
But
me.
yeah,
So
they
moving
are
swiftly
a little
on.
bit shirty about that. It's a perfect description. So make sure like hopefully you've got your sizing right.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they're going to be a little bit difficult about changing that. Other than that, very welcome.
Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, take your family. Take your
Yes.
family. As we said in our main episode
Yeah,
for London
54, I
Marathon,
believe.
this is when you need to take your family. And this is the so many people come up to me and tell me when I took my wife, my girlfriend, my husband, my boyfriend, my partner, my brother, my sister, whatever, only when they walked into the expo did they suddenly understand what it was all about.
Yeah.
And the inspiration that you get and that level of excitement, that you get when you walk into N4, which is where they normally have it at the Excel. And you think, wow, this is just wow, all these people, all this merch, all this all this inspirational stuff going on around you. Dead easy to get to. The London Excel, you get there either by the Docklands Light Rail to Custom House, or you can now get the Elizabeth line. My top tip, if you're coming from west to east, get on at the back of the train and you'll exit the train. I think carriage 7 and 8, you'll exit just where the stairs are going over to the overpass that takes you into the Excel. So really easy to get to as well.
Yeah, completely agree with that. Nothing more to add on that. Just enjoy the experience. I say, got goosebumps even thinking about it. Enjoy as soon as you get off that train, the atmosphere, the buzz of all the other runners around you. And like I say, if there's any expo where you take your family, I would agree that London Marathon is it. So like Yumi mentioned, there is a big London Marathon episode. I believe it is episode 54. If not, it's around that number. You can type that in on the podcast and you'll find it. But that is the episode where we really go into all the details, all the anecdotes, everything you need to hear. So if you want depth, go into that. Today, we're going to try and keep it a little bit shorter and sweet if we can. We do get carried away because we love London. But today's more about keeping it short and sweet about the facts of this year. So we'll go to the start line area, which is in the Greenwich Blackheath area. Again, in that big episode, we do go, and also last year, we do go into all of the details of how to get there, etc. But that is again, really exciting experience. Plenty of toilets. Make sure you always go further down for the toilets. There's some urinals there as well. And also an opportunity, check out if you're running for charity. A lot of the charities will do that pre-race photo as well.
Yeah, I know Young Lives do. I think a couple of changes this last year and into this year, and one new change definitely for this year. So previously there were 2 starts, blue and red. They then introduced the green start a few years ago, where you've got club runners, GFAs, some famous people.
Exactly.
So quite why I'm not in there, I don't know.
I know it's only about time, so everyone else would be intimidated. All the Guinness World Records in there be forgotten about.
That's right. The Guinness World Records are in there. Plus, anyone who's put down 7+ hours on their finish time, they do put them in the green start, and the green start merges with the blue start within the first mile. But that does mean that you have some slower runners being released on the course slightly early. The other one that they introduced, I think it was last year, it's only in the last couple of years, was the yellow start. So I think if you put down less than 3 hours on your predicted finish time, you get yellow start. Now the yellow start is it's a tiny little start. It's not even a start in its own right. It's just an assembly area, which is right in front of the Blackheath gates into Greenwich Park. So it's sandwiched between blue and red starts. And what they do is they funnel into the red start first before the mass participants. The other corrals or the waves come out from the red start through the park. So there is that yellow start in front of red. Blue start, of course, is bang on Blackheath. It's the main start. It's the one where you see the elites, the wheelchairs running from, going from. And that's right slap bang in the middle of Blackheath and onto Shooters Hill Road. So if you see the start line of the London Marathon, that's usually the start that they show, the blue start.
Exactly. And if you're listening to the episode and you're like, what, where's my start wave though? You should get that approximately 3 weeks before the day. So this episode should be coming out near then, but we might be a little bit earlier. So if you listen to it, don't worry, you will get that emailed to you soon. And that's usually, as I say, about 3 weeks before
Yeah.
this.
Just one more thing is that this year, something else that's new is Team Green.
Woo! Team Green.
Right. So you needed to have signed up for it. I think it's closed now. But you can, rather than do bag drop on the day, what you can do is sign up for Team Green, which means they don't give you a plastic bag. And instead, what you do is you take your own bag to the expo the day before, and you drop your bag at the expo, and that gets taken to the finish line, to a special place on the finish line.
Interesting.
And all the team now, confusingly, Team Green actually all start in the blue start line.
Just to make
missed opportunity.
What color am I?
I'm Team Green, but I'm in blue. But the reason why I think it's great is because if you remember that you get allocated your color wave and you've got no choice in it, and you could be in blue and your teammate could be in red, or your friends, or your family, or your brother, or your sister, your husband, or whatever, your person that you're running with could be in a different color. Yeah. This was the one opportunity you got to both pick to be in the blue start.
Yeah.
And they also had teas, coffees, VIP toilets, which will be
fancy.
I don't know what. It's like going to be like a Tokyo style warm toilet seat portaloo. I don't know.
Who knows? We'll find out. Maybe some sound effects.
But you get some hospitality apparently in Blue Start. So that is something new that they're trying this year.
Great. So hopefully that goes well this year. And to say, if you're listening but not running this year and thinking about it in the future, that is something to consider. If you could be Team Green, you could have some of those extra perks and a way of actually being able to choose to run with your friends. So actually getting to the point of starting then. For this, you have the elite wheelchairs. They go off at 8:50. You've got the elite women's at 9:05, elite men 9:35, and then the mass event from 9:35 to 11:30. Again, I think with London, they are quite impressive. I think they do get people over the line relatively quickly, considering how many people are running that race. I do think that is something they do a good job of. Now, something people ask us about in terms of those start waves, you have to go to the color that is assigned on your bib. Like I said, you'll get that 3 weeks before. You cannot go ahead into a different start time that you haven't been, but you can go backwards. If you want to meet up with a friend and they're in a different color, you will not be able to switch colors. However, again, listen to that big episode where we go into more details of that. But not long into the course, there is that opportunity where all of the lines will merge. Just agree to have a place to meet your friend at the side of the road. You can meet them there. But in that big episode, we go into all of the details on that, of how you can best do that.
It has changed a little bit on that, Meg, because I said previously, look for the Victorian chimney at the start of mile 4. I think now what they've done is, because they've narrowed that part of the course down for some strange reason, even though there are more participants. I don't understand it. But now you come down the big hill at Woolwich at mile 3, end of 5K. And as you will remember, the red, yellow starters are on the left-hand side. The blue-green starters are on the right-hand side of the road. You go past the roundabout, so the blue-greens will go around the outside of the roundabout. The red, yellows will go on the inside. And as soon as you turn into Woolwich Common Lane now, they have taken the barriers away. So you can start meeting just by that roundabout. But I always say, look, if you carry on another, 400 meters from there, well, no more than half a kilometer from there, you do go over this little sort of humpback bridge, this slight incline. As you come down, you see this big Victorian chimney. Right opposite there's a speed camera. And that's a really good place to actually just meet up, because you're coming down the hill and you can see around you. You can see, potentially spot your running partner waiting for you.
Amazing tip there. It would be really helpful. As I say, it's going to be very busy on the day, but as I say, enjoy those first few miles of the race, and you will have a short opportunity to meet up with your friends. Don't stress about
Yeah,
that there.
yeah,
In terms of running the race, I do fully recommend to put your name on your bib somewhere. If you're running with a charity, usually they'll send you some letters to put those on. In addition to that, one thing I forgot to mention about the running show is that they do now have a name printing
yeah,
service. So what you can do is you can fill out a form to request the name and color you'd like on it, and then I believe the orders close at 5 on Monday, the 21st of April, if they reach capacity. But
yeah,
put that on your bib. I promise you, you will not regret it. The London Marathon is like the spectators at London Marathon is phenomenal. I genuinely I will die on that hill of I don't think it can be beaten. They
yeah.
really it's London at its best. They'll get behind you, and it's kind of to the point of overwhelming. Actually, you'll feel like a celebrity on the day because you will not be used to that many people shouting your name in a day.
Do you know what? New York has like the most vocal crowd, but
Yeah,
London's more consistent because there
exactly.
are pockets of New York where there's no spectators. London has become, I get asked all the time, I want somewhere quiet to go and cheer on. And I
Good luck.
say, good luck.
Yeah, that's the only thing we can say to that. Good luck. Let
because
us know
because
if
it's
you find
become
one.
exactly, and the great thing about the London crowd is they see the name and they literally call your name. I mean, I think the first year I stopped counting at 200 and I was only in the first 10 miles.
Yeah.
You know, it got really, and one year I ran with my really good friend Lydia. She's my running partner, and her name was covered up by her running vest. And if you are going to wear a hydration vest, which is allowed
Yeah.
on the London Marathon course, you can basically, so people say to me, can you wear like, this like running vest? Can you wear like costumes? Like I've
London.
seen,
Yeah.
I saw someone running it in a thong, right? And,
Yeah.
and I've seen someone wearing Big Ben outfit
Yeah,
and
I
a
was at
friend
the
of
start
mine.
line at the McGuinness World Records. I cannot tell you the company I was in. But let me tell you now, you can pretty much run in anything.
Friend of mine, Andy Roberts, he did the world record in a chainmail outfit. He was in a
Amazing.
chainmail suit, and I was like, "How heavy was that?" He was telling me how heavy it was actually. So you can pretty much wear anything you want. If you're going to wear a hydration vest, I would say get a like piece of paper laminated with your name on it and just clip it onto the front of your bit your hydration vest. Lydia that year, her hydration vest covered up her name, and people were shouting my name and not shouting her name.
Rude.
And it actually got, yeah, it just got because they couldn't see it,
Yeah.
and I got to the stage where every time my name got shouted, I was shouting Lydia's name just to make sure she got a shout. And I was getting tired of shouting her name after
Yeah,
I'd done it
exactly.
200 times. So yeah, you bang on, brilliant tip, Meg, absolutely spot
Yeah,
on.
it sounds like such a small detail, but honestly, it will like it would be one of the best days of your life. So if you can just put your name on the front, you're doing such an incredible thing. Let people cheer you on. If you put your
Yeah.
name on your vest, people will get loud and they will get behind you. In terms of on the race course, there's Buxton natural mineral water every 3 miles from mile 3 to 15, then at miles 17, 19, 21, and 24. And please remember to drain the bottle before finishing it. That's something with London. Just so, again, yeah, perfect. You've got these little bottles. We've got our wonderful model there if you're watching on YouTube. Beautiful. There we go. I'm thirsty.
this
So,
is
mate,
this is actually not a Buxton one, but it's the bottle's made by the
it's
same
pretty
people.
much
The
the
only
same
difference is
size.
it's the
But
same size.
again, we want to
Yes.
look after each other. So make sure if you've not finished it, you drain it just so that can be stomped on and put away to the other side. There's
That's
Lucasade
it.
Sport is the main drink there. And again, look at that. My trusty model over there. There you go. I'm feeling thirsty again. And that is at mile 7, 15, 21, and 23, as well as Lucasade Sport Gels at mile 14 and 19. As we always say for every race, make
Take
sure you
your
don't do
own.
anything new on the day and
Yeah.
take your own. if you have not prepared this stuff beforehand as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Also, the drink stations are accessible for wheelchair users, and there are lots of volunteers there to hand out this stuff. If you're bringing a bottle belt or hydration pack, you also will find water refill points at mile 15. So again, huge
yeah.
respect to London there. Really do think about all the runners. It's all about accessibility, wanting everyone to be as part of the event as possible. Then, in terms of toilets, they're available at the start, every mile from mile 1 to mile 24, and at the finish. Accessible toilets are also available at the start, the finish, miles 1, 2, and then every mile.
It's every
And
even mile. I think it is, isn't it?
yeah, I think at 4, 6, 8, and so on until mile
Yeah,
24. And then
yeah.
if you have a bladder or bowel condition, you can also register for a just can't wait toilet card. And that's used by the bladder and bowel community and explains that you need urgent access elsewhere on the course.
That is brilliant. I mean, I've literally just been trading messages with somebody on my Facebook group saying, she asked the question, does anyone just pee themselves on the course?
There
Because I've
definitely
got a
will
weak
be.
bladder. And actually, you know what? This is brilliant. I am actually going to just message her and say there is a just can't wait toilet card. Actually reminded me of running in on a slightly sidetracked. We always do this.
We love
Um,
sidetrack.
in Tokyo, did you use the Portaloo in Tokyo at all?
I used one. I found one like that was relatively close to the road.
Yeah, there was a few that were close to the road, but the
Hmm.
amazing thing was I ran into the sort of area and there was a queue. There was a queue, and it was a managed like
Oh,
with those tensile rope things, and
managed to
there
perfection.
was there was somebody stood at the front like a maitre d' of a restaurant. Calling, it's your turn, it's your
Next.
turn, and there'd be other people stood by the loos, and once they spotted that a toilet became vacant, they put their hand up and direct you to the. I mean, the only thing they could have done more was open the door for me and wipe for me.
And put
It's
out the
like,
red carpet as well.
well, why not?
So you might not get that level of hospitality in
You
London,
won't.
but you will get, yeah. But there might be some queues. There'll be portaloos, and as I say, again, I just that's something you can't fault London on, and I believe they should get all the credit for is that they
Yeah.
really do go to such extremes to try and include as many runners as possible. So yeah, if you have a bladder or bowel condition, you can register for that. Just can't wait card. In addition to that, there's also bladder pads at the information points and drink stations as well. And there's
Ah,
tampons and sanitary towels at the information points and the drink stations as well. So if you get caught short, they're
brilliant.
there. So again, just efforts to make people feel more comfortable, and they really do want you to have the best race on the day. Um, and
That's so good.
and the
Yeah.
course and distance markers are in miles and kilometers.
Every 5 kilometers they are
Yeah.
in kilometers, and every mile they measure in miles.
And I
I
believe
would say
they've toned them down a little bit, right? Because when I last ran London, it was like these massive arches
balloons.
of
Yeah,
balloons. They were
yeah.
huge, but now they're a little bit more modest. Now
No,
TCS has taken over.
yeah, they're really just like the New York ones. They're quite like a small
Yeah.
thing on the side, which aren't big.
Maybe people
And
just got, it might have been budget. Maybe people just got fed up of blowing up all those balloons.
it reminded me of that program Blockbusters. Actually, they've got these
Yeah.
like hexagonal things,
Yeah.
so it's kind of bit weird like that. Anyway, so yeah, the course markers, you need to just look out for those because they're not as obvious as the big balloon arches as they used to have when I first ran it in 2018, for example. But you do get to. It's easy to navigate and it's easy to work out where you are because they are visible at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And there will be pacers, of course, as well along the course from
Mm,
3 hours till 7 hours 30. Again, London
yeah.
being the most generous, I believe, out of the majors of that. Literally, they make sure that like everyone can finish as like unless you're unwell, they will keep that start line up for you to finish and get your medal.
And I think if you finish after 8 hours, i.e., after the tail walkers come through, they do now move the finish line to the alternative finish line in St. James's Park, which
Yep.
is right next to the Mall. But you're right, everybody gets to finish, everyone gets a medal. And if you opted in for or you didn't opt out of your event shirt, everyone gets a t-shirt, everyone gets a medal, everyone gets a tie, which is great.
And which I love. And so as well, and to describe the course really again, we won't go into every single little bit of it, we go that in the big episode, but I would describe it fast and flat, essentially. You do have a little bit of elevation. You've got the 246 feet. I think it's more of an exciting course. You do have lots of sort of ups and downs there. You do have some switchbacks. Unfortunately, with the popularity of the race, I would say that was what probably slows down the race in terms of traffic. But it is formally described as fast and flat.
I would call it flat with a few bumps.
Yeah.
That's what I would describe it as. You've got the big downhill at 5 kilometers, 3 miles, which is the one that you go down to Woolwich at where the courses merge. If you're running Blue Start, it's pretty flat all the way, gentle rise all the way to that hill, that big drop. Mm-hmm. If you're on the Red Start, you do get the only significant incline on the route, which is at bang on 4K, 400 meters, 4%. So think of the fours, right? And it's 400 meters. You're going to be so jacked up full of adrenaline, you're not even going to notice it. But the rest of it, there's a bit of an incline going over Tower Bridge. But you don't notice it because, again, you're so super excited. There's a bit of undulation on the highway where you run the 1 and a bit miles of switchback. It's not a massive switchback, but, you know, just to watch out for that. And also coming out of the Blackfriars underpass at the end of mile 24 going into mile 25, there is that slight incline as you come out. And then there's a cheeky little incline as you get from mile 25 marker, which is just after Embankment Station, to Big Ben. But again, you know, you don't really notice it, but you might do more because actually by then you've got tired legs.
But I think it's more so you're like Big Ben just appears to get further and further away.
Yeah, like the Brandenburg Gate.
Yeah, literally, it's like the Brandenburg Gate. You're like, oh, thank goodness that you come obviously up of that little underpass. You come up and you're like, oh my goodness, Big Ben. You're so excited. You know, you're near the finish, and it just seems to escape you. Just gets further and further away. And then when you get to Big Ben, you're like, oh my goodness, yes, I'm here. Then you turn right, and then you've got that extra bit. You're going all the way then to Buckingham Palace, round that corner. And then that's when you can really get excited. You see the big TV screens, you have the big noise. But you have plenty of noise and supporters along that way, especially when you get along that the embankment as well. That's the thing that will pull you through as Big Ben appears to slip out of your sights.
I think I like to break this course down into like 4 sections, Meg. The first 10K is like settle in. It's a little bit undulaty and you know, it's that big downhill. You got a little bit of undulation. By the time you get into Cutty Sark, a nice flat road coming in through into Romney Road, into where you can see the old Royal Naval College on your right hand side. You've got the Queen's House. You've got the the National Maritime Museum. You hang a right, you're into Cutty Sark. The one change I would say that I've seen on the course now is when you come round Cutty Sark and you turn right into Creek Road, we always used to have we still will have the Young Lives versus Cancer cheer station. There was the first one. And it used to be a really quiet road. Not anymore. Two things. One, they've closed. I don't know why they've done this. They've now made the sort of like spectators pavement bigger. So they, instead of having 2 lanes on each side, they've closed off one half of the road. So it does get quite tight in there. And from the mile 7 marker to the mile 8 marker, it was just insane going up, Creek Road, Evelyn Street, Lower Road. And Lower Road, Evelyn Street, and it was just all the way up to the McDonald's. It was busy, and I used to tell people to go to sort of Surrey Quays and go and stand and watch as you turn right to go in towards Surrey Quays and the Tesco. It was a great place for kids to go. Last year, it was mental. I even did a video saying like, "Oh my God, I can't believe the atmosphere here." So the first sort of like 10k up to just before 11k to Cutty Sark, I'd say the first section. The second section I would then call like the boring middle, right, which is where you run around the peninsula and there's a bit of entertainment. There's the bagpipes are always there just after the big decathlon and the sticky road of the Lucasade
I don't know.
station.
I don't think I found any bit boring, you see. It's
Do you
like
know?
for me. So I think we had plenty of bands in there, plenty of
But in the first year I ran, 2018, that was pretty dead there. In the last 2 years, it has been consistent noise. You can't, there's nowhere that's quiet anymore. And where it's quiet is because people can't really get there that easily.
yeah.
But by the time you get to mile 11, you get to Rotherhithe, and then you turn right onto Jamaica. That road, again, they've halved they narrowed the roadside, the width of the road, the track. And where the brass band are always, the Salvation Army brass band, I think it is, that are on the right-hand side there as you turn. So great atmosphere. But the crowds are absolutely surging now. And then your treat in terms of getting to halfway, you cross over Tower Bridge, which is my favourite bit.
Yes,
Then you get the second part, which is actually quite a long stretch from halfway. You're on the highway. It's the switchback. You run into to Canary Wharf and Isle of Dogs, Canary Wharf. The thing to look out for there is that your GPS is going to go nuts. You know, like I ran there a couple of weeks ago, and I still ran a kilometer split faster than Kipchoge, which is impossible, right? Because the building said
this is
that's how
why he's
fast I was
jealous.
running.
This is why he's
Well, this
jealous.
is why he keeps trying to race me,
Exactly.
right?
Stop,
You know,
man. You're embarrassing yourself.
and then you're around Canary Wharf. Ignore your GPS for a couple of for a mile, and then you're on your way back. And then I would say, as soon as you've gone past 20 miles, you've gone up Poplar High Street, you're into sort of like West Ferry. The crowds are absolutely immense. You've got Rainbow Road coming up to celebrate the LGBTQ community. They had this, drag queens on back of lorries doing dancing and singing last year. It was really good fun. They've got, midnight runners, Adidas runners were there with a big confetti cannon. So it's all party down in Limehouse around that sort of mile 21, 22. You're back along the highway. And as soon as you get to Tower Hill, believe it or not, you've got one park run left. You've got one park run left. It's going to feel, and it's just the one. And it's that 5K drag from the Hung Drawn and Quartered pub, where, outside the Liberty Bounds, where Jay, would always be a Young Lives versus Cancer cheer station there. The captain would be, his pub. And then it's a 5K drag along through the city, through the Blackfriars underpass, which doesn't smell of wee anymore. I promise
you. No, thank goodness.
No, and it's like a big disco thing. Oh. It's 2 minutes of your life.
Yeah.
Running
you won't get back.
But it's the respite that you get, actually. That the only little bit where you don't get crowd is in that tunnel.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you come through, come on, there's a smorgasbord of stuff to see, right? You've got the South Bank on the left hand side. You've got the Oxo Tower. You've got Somerset House. You get to the Waterloo Bridge, and after that, you've got the London Eye on the left. You've got New Scotland Yard, the MOD building on the right. You've got Big Ben. You turn right and you see Parliament Square. You've got Westminster Abbey. You've got the Treasury. You look to the right and you've got Whitehall leading up to where the friends and family meeting area is. And then you're on that birdcage walk. Oh, Meg, do you remember that bit? 800 meters to go.
It's
600 meters to go.
Yeah, you're just like, come on. And the noise is getting loud. You've got people above on the bridge cheering you on with the banners.
Oh, man.
Incredible. Like, I swear Big Ben's getting further away. And then all of a sudden he's in front of you and you're like, yes, thank goodness. You turn it. You got that 500-meter sign then. You turn it.
Oh, no, it's the one that says 385 yards to go, because there's no mile 26 marker.
Nope.
You see that sign, that gantry, And as I always say, and I said this on a video that I did recently, that's where you wipe the snot, the sweat, the tears off your face, because there are cameras everywhere. And you look around you and you check out and see that there's nobody that you don't want. There's nobody. If there's people you don't want in your finish line photo, you just check that you've got some space,
Yeah.
because you've got SpongeBob
Listen to
behind
the
you,
pro. Yeah.
or Big Bird, right? You want to have your arms in the air and
Oh,
then
Mystery Machine
just keep going.
definitely like probably ruins so many photos. Sorry in advance if I'm in the back of your photo. Probably with a war face on as well, dragging that
Oh,
machine.
I could well imagine. But, then you've got the finish line and it's just epic, right?
Oh, it's
Three parts to
incredible.
the gantry,
Goosebumps.
just unreal.
Yeah.
Just unreal.
It's still one of my
And
favorite finish lines ever. I remember like watching it as a little girl on the TV, and you'd see the camera, like, the drone shot zoom out, and you've got then the Buckingham Palace and you've got the gold statue and coming.
oh,
But
wow.
there is nothing like doing that yourself, especially if you're British. You've seen that on the TV. When it's finally your moment, you come round and you see the gold statue and you see the
Oh,
big screens and you can hear the electric noise from the gantry around the corner. Oh, I'm so excited for you. As I say, like
the,
I will be living vicariously through you. I can like remember it like it was yesterday. So I'm so
the,
excited for you to get to do that.
those Union Jacks all the way down the Mall. And funnily enough, it does go a bit quiet because they've built that blooming grandstand there, which
Yeah,
is only for VIPs, which is a bit annoying. It's
I
not like
think
New
it's a
York.
shame.
And actually, you know what? They've actually started letting some charity guests go in a bit later and opening it more to the public for some of the later finishes. But I think it's a real shame, actually, because you don't get that big cheer at the end. However, I always, me, I'm always looking on the positive side of things. The big crowd is there from the 385 yards thing. You turn right, past the fountain where they're 9 people deep. And then you get into that last bit of the Mall and it goes a bit quiet and you
And it's
might
a
feel a bit
really
sort of
wide finish line. I'd
super
say
wide,
probably the
6
biggest out of all
lanes.
the majors, actually.
Yeah, 6 lanes wide, but it goes a little bit quiet. And actually, I do think that gives you a little bit of time to just reflect
Yeah.
for
Take a
you.
breath, like, oh, I've done it. It's
Yeah,
coming.
this
Yeah.
this this bit's for me. And this, like, everyone else has been cheering
I
me. I'm
completely
doing.
agree. You have that. It's like this build up. You're like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, the statue, the screens, and then you almost get onto it. And I completely agree there. It's almost
Yeah,
like, oh, it goes down slightly. You take a breath,
yeah,
and it's almost a bit like in slow motion, a little bit.
yeah,
Like you say, like it's
yeah.
almost like the noise goes out, and all of a sudden you're just so aware of like, oh, I've just done this. This is coming. Yeah, it's like a moment for you. I think that's perfectly described.
Well, I'll be thinking of you as I run down there, Meg.
I appreciate it, mate. You never know. Who knows? I might be like, screw that. I'll be coming the day before. I very much doubt it, guys, especially after that whole speech at the start. But that's how much could you imagine? But that's how much I love the London Marathon. But I am so, so excited for everyone doing it. It really will be one of your best memories you have for life.
My biggest question for you, though, Meg, is: are
Yeah.
you going to come to the after party?
I'm going to try to. I'm going to try my very best, and I'm glad you brought that up. So when you cross that finish line, it's like it. Then all of a sudden, you're going to get your medal over you. You're going to pick up your bag. You get your little goodie bag. You get your t-shirt. There is the meet and greet area over by the big horse guard. But if you are
Great, yeah,
part of a charity, I really do recommend checking out if they have an after party.
yeah,
They look after you so well. Hats off to Young Lives versus Cancer. Every single year, they hit it out of the park. They do
yeah,
such an incredible job. Massages when you come in, they are like tripping over themselves to congratulate you. They've got a lovely photo board that you can stand in front
yeah,
of. Your friends and I would also recommend meet your friends and family there if you can.
yeah,
You just it takes a while to get out. You're kind of going or kind of off track a little bit to go to the actual official meet and greet area. Then you've all got to battle through Trafalgar Square.
that's
My
it.
advice is if you can actually meet them, especially if you're doing a charity, meet them at the after party. They're there when you walk in, and there's this big celebration, and it's incredible. And like Young Lives versus Cancer again as well, give you a little bit of food, a little bit of snacks, and it's amazing. So if I can be there, I'm going to try my very best to get down there and
Well,
celebrate Bart the day.
all I can say, Meg, is Divad will be there. right?
I'm suddenly free.
Julie will be there,
Amazing.
right?
I'm gonna, as I say, I'm gonna try my absolute very best. If I can be there,
it
I'd
would
love to be
be
there and celebrate
it
with you
would
all.
be it would be wonderful to see you, Meg, on that finish line at the after party. So hopefully you can make it up, because you got the whole gang coming, the band coming
The
back
band is
together
back
again.
together. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. So, is there anything else major that we've forgotten to mention? I think we've covered it all. As I say, episode 54, I believe it is, but you can type it in London Marathon in the podcast. That is where we go into really the detail. We've got so
Yeah.
many anecdotes, so many top tips. We go into massive detail about the transport, where to do after.
Yeah.
One thing I won't go into where to go, but what I will say is it is central London. It's difficult to book a place for dinner on a normal day, but especially around marathon time, both the night before and the day of. If you want to go to somewhere particular to have a meal, definitely book in advance.
Yeah. That's a good shout. Good shout.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. As I say, if you are running it this year, have the absolute best race. I'm so excited for you. Honestly, it will be one of the best days of your life. It really shows London at its best. It's the race that celebrates every runner. If you see Yimmy around, please give him a hug, give him a cheer. And yeah, big respect to you, Yimmy. I know that's going to be such a special race after a year of, so I know it's not going to be your 12th one now because you've added
It's my
Paris in, it'll
13th
be
now.
Boston.
Yeah.
But yeah, lucky number 13. And I know that like what a way to kind of round up the year really of like just non-stop events for an awesome
Thanks,
cause.
Meg.
Awesome. All right, we will speak to you soon. And the next time you will see us will be the top up for Berlin. And it will come around February,
Wow.
I believe.
Lots to say about Berlin this year.
We do indeed. All right, speak to you soon, guys.